Hello. Hello. Come on into the webinar. My name is Linda Peavy, and I'm going to be your hostess for today, where we're going to talk about how you get grant money for your woman-owned business, your Black-owned business, and your Black-led nonprofit. So, as you come in, say hello to me. Say hello to me as you come in. Say hello give that city and that state a shout out. Let me know where you are coming in from, and happy holidays. Happy holidays. Happy holidays. Oh, the weather outside. Okay, I'll spare you, but it is snowing here. All right, it is snowing here. I am in the land. I'm in the land, not too far from Cleveland, Ohio. Hello, Cherise from Houston. I bet it's not snowing in Houston. And Cy from Hartford, Connecticut. It might be snowing in Connecticut. And Tamika from Lawrenceville, Georgia. Merry Christmas. Is it La Chica? La Chica from Red Oak, Texas. And Cherie is coming in from North Carolina. North Carolina. And Tanisha's coming in from California. And Rico is coming in from the Bay Area in California. Oh, Cherie says it's hot where she is. Can we trade a little bit of the weather? And Marianne is coming in from, Scuba. Scuba. I don't think I know where Scuba is. Scuba, Mississippi, and I've been to Mississippi. Oh, it's Chica. Chica. All right, Chica. Chica. And Kathy from Florida, and Bradley from New Jersey, and Terry from Dallas. The sun is shining. Oh, don't rub it in. Don't rub it in, Terry. And is it Lacilia from Tennessee, and Tamara from Illinois, and Denise is coming in from Chi-Town, Chi-Town, Chicago, and Sheila from Nashville. Ah, is it Nashville, Arkansas? There's a Nashville, Arkansas. Amazing. And Eric is coming in from Costa Rica. Welcome from Costa Rica. It's certainly not snowing there. And Cindy is coming in from the ATL. Welcome, everybody. My name is Linda Peavy. We're going to get started because I really do have a lot of information to share with you, especially now, because you need to be ready January 1st to go. Like, it's go time. No more sitting on the sidelines. We're almost through December. It's go time. You've got to place your organization in a position to get this grant money. All right. So we've got, is it Angela? Angelita. Sometimes they cut off the names. Angelita from Virginia, and Mardisa from Lawrenceville. So I'm going to get started. You're going to see just my little 30-second TV commercial, which will give you some information about my background and the work that I do and how I am able to help you. And then we are going to get started because, yes, we're live. And because we're live, as I always say, when I hit this share screen button, I come through technology, come through. All right, so it is looking good. It is looking good. I'm going to turn up the volume a bit. All right, there we go. All right, we are off to the races.
Hi, I'm Linda Peavy, owner of LaPav Consulting. My passion is to place your organization on the path to excellence. Are you struggling to communicate your message, reach target audiences, or secure funding? From marketing communications to grant writing, we achieve your goals. We've worked with high-profile clients and have secured $17 million in funding for charter schools and nonprofits. Call today to discuss what your success looks like and how LaPav Consulting can help.
All right, so that's just a little information about me. Let me make sure everybody is in the right place.
Hi, I'm Linda.
Not going to do that again. This is grant writing for Black-owned businesses and Black-led nonprofits. And this is my live noon session. All right. All right. So everybody should be in the right place. Now, my background. Yes, they call me the grants queen because I have secured over $17 million in grants and business development. And this is year 16 of me owning my company, LaPav Consulting. Every one of those years I have spent as a professional grant writer. I also provide workshops all over the country. for many different organizations, including Jumpstart and the Urban League and Goldman Sachs. And at Goldman Sachs, I am one of their 10,000 small businesses alumnus. Now, my undergrad and graduate degrees are from the University of Akron. Go Zips, go Zips. And I'm also a member of Forbes Black, which is an organization of Black leaders affiliated with Forbes magazine. Now, I have a business, yes, but let me know in the chat, are you a nonprofit or for profit, or maybe you are both? These absolutely, everything that I'm teaching you today works internationally, including Canada, including Costa Rica, right? Because there are grants available globally. All right. So you're in the right place. All right. And actually, there's one grant portal that specifically has information about Canada and Canadian grants. All right. Let me know who's here with me. Nonprofit, for profit, soon to enter the nonprofit world. Excellent. Veteran owned. Excellent. All right. So the reason I ask you this at the beginning is so that you understand completely. There are grants for both entities. There are grants for nonprofits and there are grants for for-profits. Your for-profits are your small businesses, right? So you're in the right place. There are grants for both. All right. Got it? All right. Now, how did I get here? I used to be a publishing executive in Pennsylvania and I got hurt. When I got hurt, I had to come home. I had to come home to Cleveland to recuperate, right? Literally came home in a wheelchair, was on a flight, was on a flight with Patti LaBelle, but that's a story for another time, right? So when I got back, it took me 2 years to recuperate, 2 years. And once I was better back in Cleveland, I couldn't find a job, right? Because my experience was in professional publishing, right? And Cleveland, Ohio is not the publishing mecca of the United States, all right? But when I started the position, one of my first contracts, right, with my company, one of my first contracts was to be the executive director of a nonprofit. All right. Now, we're all family here today, right? We're all family here today. So let me say this to you. I don't think I was there 2 weeks before I was called into the board of directors office and told that I had to write a grant that would literally save my job, thus saving the organization. And you know, oftentimes that people who look like us, right, we're called in to do what? Save the day, save the program, sometimes save the entire organization. So if you know what I mean, give me a yes in the chat. All right. But you know what? I did it. I had never seen a grant before, by the way. I had never seen a grant before, had no knowledge of grants. But you know what? I'm seeing some yeses. Yeah, oh, I'm seeing lots of yeses, lots of yeses. You know what I mean, right? But I did it. I researched. I wrote that grant. I won that grant. It paid for my salary. It saved my job. It saved the organization. And yes, you can write grants with zero experience, right? You have to know what to do. And that's why we're here today. But also, what I learned after securing the grant money is what you can do with grant funding. How about you finally open? Some of you have not yet opened, right? How about thriving? How about hiring help? Are you tired of wearing all 10 hats, right? How about using another organization's money? Are you tired of using your own money, right? I hear from you all the time. I know you're tired of using your own money to fund your organization. So that's just part of what grant money can do. All right, we'll talk more about that a little bit later. What else will we talk about? Why this class is even necessary. Some keys to funding. I will go through some grant basics. I will show you how do you prepare to write grants. You have to be grant ready. What do you write in an application? How do you write so that you're getting noticed in a way that foundations want to give you funding? And I'm going to show you how to conduct grant research so that you're finding the organizations that want to fund your programming or your services. And then don't go anywhere because I have a list of available funds for you. And whatever you do, please try to stay until the end. I have a bonus surprise. And then because it is the holiday season, I have some extra surprises for you. All right. All right. So we're ready to go. Why are we even here? Because Black organizations like ours need money. And you know what? It shouldn't always be about loans, right? We want grant money because grant money is free to us. Let me say this to all of you. You can do this. You can write grants. You can write grants. It's not what it used to be. You're not sitting in some corner for 3 months at a time writing some 500-page grant. I know because that's exactly what I used to do. A lot of the applications now are 2 and 3 pages. I kid you not. Some are 500 words. But you have to know that there is a process to this. After having won $17 million, probably approaching $18 million now worth of grants, I know it's about more than you just writing down an answer and sending off an application. There's a process to winning the grant funding, and that is part of what we will talk about today. All right. Now, quickly, where's the money coming from? For nonprofits, most of your money for grants are still coming from foundations, your community foundation, your private foundation, your local foundation, right? Your family foundations. For small businesses, when COVID happened, a lot of small businesses went under. And so your major corporations and major organizations said, we're going to help bail out small businesses. We're going to start giving away grant funding. And that's what they did. They started to create grants earmarked for small businesses. So that grant money is still relatively new when you think about the overall scope of grants. Now, how does this affect you and me? That was the George Floyd incident. When George Floyd was murdered, right? Foundation leaders saw what everybody else saw, and they said, we have to do something to address racial injustice in this country. Now, and that's what they did. They started to create pools of grants earmarked for Black organizations. Now, that may seem like a long time ago, especially with what we are hearing about DEI in the news, but let me tell you something. Do not believe everything you see on the news or in the media. There are organizations, major organizations, absolutely committed to giving Black organizations funding. You won't hear their names necessarily. I just came back from a global conference last week where I saw dozens of these organizations, major names that you will recognize, that's absolutely committed to DEI and to giving Black organizations funds. So don't believe everything you hear. The money is available. All right. The grant money is available. All right. So you're in the right place. You're in the right place. Now, what do you need to know about grants? Grants are not paid back, regardless of what you are seeing on social media. Grants are not paid back. Now, for the next minute, I'm only talking to nonprofits. Get your 501c3. That is your tax exempt designation by the IRS to say that you're a charitable organization. Now, why is this important? Because even if you are a church or a school, if you're a nonprofit, you need a 501c3 because foundations are mandated by their board of directors that they can only give their grant money to nonprofits with the 501c3 status. The good news is that it's taking about 8 weeks instead of the typical 6 months. So get your 501c3. This is just for nonprofits. All right. Now, from this point forward in this presentation, I'm talking to all of you, everybody, nonprofits, your for-profit small businesses, everybody. All right. Especially with this next slide. Everybody look at this slide. Actually, this needs to be updated because in 2023, it increased to $189 billion. $189 billion. That's over the course of 1 year. Over the course of 1 year. Don't let anybody tell you that there's no grant money. Oh, there's plenty of grant money. The question is, how are you going to place your organization in a position to get it? Right? So it increased. We got the numbers. It increased in 2023 and 2024. It's expected to increase. The numbers will have increased in 2025. Who knows, right? We'll talk about that in a moment, right? But look at this number. And I don't want you to be overwhelmed. I don't want you to look at this number and think, oh my gosh, like, how am I ever going to get any part of that? No, I want you to focus on what you need, right? You need what you need. You just need a little bit of the $180 billion, right? Just a little bit. So don't be intimidated by that number. So I want everybody right now in this chat, I want you to write, I just need a little bit. I want you to focus on what you need and not this big, huge number. This big, huge number is good because it means the money is available, people, right? So everybody right now in the chat, I want you to write out in this chat. This is interactive. Write out in this chat. Tony, do you need all the money? Lashika, do you need it all? Right? Denise, do you need all $180 billion? Cindy, do you need every bit of it? Or can you just maybe take a slice of it? Rico, will you take a slice? Right? Marion, do you need it all? Medisa said, I need not all, but some, right? Marion says, I just need a portion, right? You just need a slice, just a slice, right? Look, I'll take some crumbs that fall from $180 billion. You can leave me some crumbs in the plate because crumbs are going to be a lot of money, right? Right? That's what I'm talking about. So think about this. Think about this. The money is available now, right? Now the money is available because a lot of organizations have set their budgets for the first part of 2025. Look, we don't know what's going to happen in 2025, but there are ways in which you can safeguard your organizations. And one way is getting free money. We're talking about free money today. All right. So you keep that in mind as we go through this presentation because it's go time. Nobody is coming to save us but us. I have a coach that says to me all the time, we are the ones we've been looking for. You're the one you've been looking for. You got to take your organization into your own hands and get this grant money. All right. Now, but first, they call me the grants queen, and it's chilly today in Cleveland. So I've got to give you some cups of tea. I'm going to be giving you cups of tea all afternoon. This is the first one. It is called Grammarly. Now, if you use Grammarly, give yourself some love in the chat. What is it? It is a free software editing tool. You download it onto your computer. As you're writing Word, as you're writing Excel, as you're writing your emails, it self-corrects. It gives you all kinds of different examples, right? And now it has AI in it. So it's really incredible. Why is this important? Because I don't want you submitting grant applications full of grammatical errors. That's why, right? Yes, Marion uses it. Joel uses it. Eric, yes. Yes, yes, yes. That's what I'm talking about. I don't want you writing and submitting these grant applications full of grammatical errors. So you download Grammarly. It's free. And it doesn't matter how many letters you have behind your name. I have several. I'm a professional editor, professional writer, and a professional grant writer. I wouldn't write without Grammarly. And download this article too. Improve writing skills dramatically by doing these 15 things. This is what you're going to be doing before you even think about writing a grant, right? I'm preparing you to write grants. What else do you need to know? Get your documents in order. Your EIN, your employer identification number. Nonprofits, you need that 501c3, right? Now, you may need a business license or a state certification. I'm in Ohio. In Ohio, if you own a business, you need a business license. So just check with your Secretary of State. It's different for every state, especially if you have a for-profit. Find out whether or not you need that business license. Nonprofits, you need a board of directors list. And yes, it is mandated that you have a board of directors. Absolutely. Now, for-profits, it's not mandated, but if you have one, get your list together, right? And no, your board of directors cannot all consist of family and friends, right? But that's another webinar. I digress. All right. Get a list of any staff members, letters of support. Let the foundations know that you have organizations that believe in your mission. Where can you get letters from? Your community leaders, politicians, if you know them, the mayor, your church, your pastor, right? Your vendors, people that work with you and know of your work. Now, if you are currently operating your organization, you need a financial statement. That's your balance sheet and your P&L or your profit and loss statement. Some accountants also call it an income statement, right? Income statement, P&L statement, same thing. Now, all of you, every single one of you, even you startups, you need an operating budget and you can estimate this budget. Think about what expenses you are going to incur over the course of a year. That's your operating budget. And yes, you can guess, and yes, you need one because it will also help you decide how much grant money you need. Oftentimes, I see organizations thinking, oh my gosh, I need like $1 million grant. I'll never get it. When they actually sit down and write out their operating budget and guess, like, what is it that I really need to operate over the course of a year? They realize, oh, I only need $50,000 in grant money or so. This is important. All right. Now, I'm going to go through the typical components of a grant application so that you know how to write these sections. And I'm going to give you best practices. All right. The first section you're going to see is called the summary abstract, right? That is a summary of the entire grant application. But whatever you do, don't be fooled. You see this first. You always write it last because you're going to go through your completed grant application and pull out the most compelling components, and that will create your summary because this is the first impression that foundation is going to have. It's the first thing they'll see, so it's got to be tight, right? All right, got it? Now, your mission is critical. And yes, if you are a for-profit, you need a mission too. Why? Because it can lead you to the organization that wants to give you funding. Let's say you have a passion for education. You need to be finding foundations that also have a passion for education. And you don't change your mission statement based on what organization you're applying money from. No, your mission statement stays the same because it defines who you are, your aims and your goals, and what you do. You need to be looking for foundations that align to your mission. All right. So if you don't have a mission statement, that is homework 101 for you. All right. Homework 101. Now, history section. Just don't ever leave this blank because even if you are a startup, you have a history too, because now you're going to be writing about what were the experiences, right, that led to you opening your organization. What was the impetus for you even starting? Whatever those activities were, experiences were, led to the opening of your organization. Therefore, it becomes a part of its history. All right. Leadership, that's easy. Your CEO, your board of directors, but you always include your board. Always include your board because they are very much a part of your leadership team, right? So your senior leadership, right? But include your board. Now, this next section, this is how you separate your application from the pack. It's how you describe your organization. I want you to use one word to write this section, right? One word as the catalyst for you writing this section that will describe who you are and what you do. Impact. Let that lead your writing because I want you to talk about what was the impact that you've had on those for whom you serve. You have a homeless ministry. How many homeless people have you placed in shelters? You have a food pantry. How many tons of food have you donated? You have an online coaching service where you coach people in career development. How many people have you led to their future careers? Right? You have any type of educational program for kids. How many children have you impacted? Have you, if it's like a tutoring program, what has been their increase in proficiency levels, right? And if you have not yet started, I still want you to write about impact in real numbers because now you're going to be talking about what you hope your impact will be. So let's say you have that tutoring program, you haven't opened it yet, but you can write that when I open my program, I expect for the students, right, who take this program to increase their reading proficiency levels by 2%. So still use impact, still use real numbers, whether or not you've opened. All right. And this is where you got to rethink how you see your organization. because you need to write a statement of need. You need to address what is the issue or problem that you are solving. And let me tell you, there's always a problem. You must write this grant application this way. Now, let's take a bakery that wants to locate in a downtown community, a bakery, right? You might be thinking, what problem is she resolving? She's making cakes all day. Maybe she decided to open up a vegan bakery because vegans don't have a lot of great places to buy baked goods. Or maybe it's economic development because the area where she's wanting to locate, there have been many other failed businesses and she wants to make a difference, right? Maybe you help veterans with PTSD. That's a real issue. Maybe you're resolving the issue of suicide amongst veterans, right? Because you want to counsel and help veterans, right, that are struggling. Whatever that issue is going to lead you to the foundation that wants to give you money because they're giving money in the same area, right? Every foundation has an area of interest for which they fund. And how do you find out who they fund, what they fund, and where and how? You go to their website. You go to that foundation's website. But guess what? 90% of foundations don't have a website. So that's where you have to get really creative in how you find out information about that organization. All right. Now, this is where some of you get into trouble because I have been consulting with organizations for 16 years now. I serve as a business coach for the Women's Business Council, which is funded by EIDC, which is funded by the Small Business Administration. And when I ask, who are you helping? Who is your target population? Too often, you know what I get? I help everybody. I help everybody. I have a heart for helping. I help everybody. Let me say this really, really clear to all of you. You cannot help everybody. Doesn't matter what you do or your industry, you can't help everybody. Had this lengthy discussion a couple of weeks ago with a gentleman with a pest control company. Well, I'm in pest control. I help everybody. No, you don't. No, you don't. Right? It doesn't matter what you do. You need one, maybe two target populations. And then you have to drill down. Do you say you help the homeless? The homeless who? Homeless veterans, homeless kids, right? And for that pest control company, maybe they really only help people that live within a 5-mile radius. Or maybe they really only help people, let's say they have green, right, green materials that they use, like environmentally safe materials that they use. Now you're going after a particular audience that cares about, right, the environment. So it doesn't matter your industry, what you do, who you serve. You need a target population because foundations give according to target populations. If you want to place one or two of yours in the chat, if I get to it at the end, we'll talk about it. And get excited, people. Be excited about you applying for free money. You get a chance to tell your story. Grant writing is all about telling a story. You get to talk about what lives you changed or whatever outcomes you've had, whether you are a for-profit or a nonprofit. That's why you have to keep records of the work that you do and the impact that you have, whether it's through testimonials or case studies, right? Be excited, right? This is your chance to tell your story about your organization. And there's no better way of showcasing impact than using video. Oh my goodness. When you're meeting with that foundation leader, you can talk for 20 minutes, but when you put on that video, it's a game changer. And if you are currently open, this is easy. Have your customers pick up their cell phone, talking to it for 30 seconds, and get you a testimonial video that you're going to place on the homepage of your website. Your website. And if you have not yet opened, I still want you to use video. Let's say you want to open in an area that's underrepresented. Maybe there's blight in the area. You want to bring in and do some type of development work, housing. You can use video to showcase the issue, videotape the area, right? Use video to show the numbers regarding maybe poverty and unemployment. You're slipping on videos. It is a phenomenal way to showcase impact. Now, all of you have a decision to make. All right. By the way, make sure you are dropping questions into the chat, right? Make sure you're dropping questions in either the chat or the Q&A, because we're going to do that Q&A at the end. So this is not the time to be shy. All right. You can ask this grants expert, this grant instructor, questions about grants. All right. So drop your questions into the chat or the Q&A. And just know, all of you will get this video at the end tonight, right? And guess what? It will be free to you. As I mentioned, I don't charge for this video. I want you to have this knowledge, people. So you're going to get this video tonight. And you'll get it for free, or you'll have it forever, so that you can come back again and again and again to this information that I'm sharing with you, right? Because I am here to try to get you this grant money. All right. So don't worry. You'll get the replay. You'll have it tonight. It will be free. You'll have it forever. I see your questions, right? So don't worry about that. You'll get all of this tonight. Now, you all have a decision to make, though, when it comes to grants. Are you applying for operating money or program project money? Now, you know, we love getting operating grants, right? Because when you get a general operating support grant, you decide where to put the money, your lease, IT, your salary, your staff, because an operating grant will allow you to pay for your administrative cost to help shore up the infrastructure of your organization. Oh, but only about 32% of foundations give general operating support. Most grant money has to go to a particular program or project or service of your organization. All right. Now, next, you have to apply to multiple foundations. Why is that? Into the chat, anybody. Why do you have to apply to multiple foundations? Why? Why? Enter the chat. Why do you, Rico says it's a numbers game. Joe says partial funding. Eric says you won't get all of the grants you apply for. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, says Angelita. Better chances, says Chandria. You're all right. But here's another huge factor. You should know that grants are not guaranteed. Don't let anybody tell you that they can guarantee you some grant money. If somebody is telling you that, I want you to do one of those military turns and run any other direction, because you're about to be scammed. I hear horror stories every day now. As an expert in this field, horror stories about people being scammed. Just saw something last week, this huge Facebook ad, $50,000 grant, everyone awarded. No. All right. As you describe your project or your service, talk about why you've been successful. What were the factors? And if it's something new, why will it be successful? Why is it that you are the person bringing this idea or project or program or service to market? Why you and why now? Why is it needed now? All right. Next, I cannot possibly overstate the importance of community partnerships. People, if you just follow this instruction that I'm going to give to you, you will be in a so much better position, again, to not just write grants, to win grants, right? Because that's what we're focused on today. You all, every single one of you, it doesn't matter if you are a solopreneur, it doesn't matter if you are by yourself, it doesn't matter. You need community partners. This does not have to be difficult. Let's say you have an accounting firm, right? You're an LLC. You can give a 1-hour free tax talk at your local library every single month. That's a community partner. And I think libraries are like criminally underutilized. I just finished a tour through the library system where I am, through the whole county. They are well-respected entities in your community. And I want you to connect with those kinds of organizations, right? Because it will strengthen your grant application when that foundation sees, oh, you're working with XYZ. We know XYZ, right? Reason number 2, it increases your level of visibility, right? So many of you have great programs, great services, great operations, right? Nobody knows about your program or your service. Nobody even knows about you, not even your own community. But when you connect with well-respected entities, the Urban League, One is your Black Men of America, HBCUs, right? You get a little bit of their shine because they're already high profile. It will raise your level of visibility. And let me tell you, foundations watch what's going on in their communities. And I will prove that to you a little bit later. So homework for all of you, name five organizations that you are going to partner with, right? Five. And if you want to list a few in the chat, you can. I want to give you a really quick example because I need for you to get this. Let's say you have a program that deals with reentry. You work with prisoners reentering into society. Put into the chat, what do you think of some of the organizations that they should be partnering with? You help prisoners, right, be successful and productive members of society once they get released. What are some of the organizations you think a company like that should be partnering with? Well, exactly. The police, right? The police, organizations that provide skills, right? How about the Justice Department? How about the Sheriff's Office? How about the Parole Board, right? Those are just a few. Those are just a few, right? Because you're going to need to work with that prisoner before they get out of jail. So you need the chaplain, right? Treatment programs, right? Mental health programs, ministries, the church, the local church, right? So you see what you have to do. All of you must do this. Write down five organizations, this is homework, that you're going to partner with, that you're going to seek partnerships with in your community. All right. Now, you're asking for grant money. You have to write out what you think will happen as a result of you getting the grant money. They're called goals. What are you pushing for? What is the expectation? And they have to be SMART goals. They can't be regular goals. Let's say I have a literacy program. I want to reduce the poverty rate in Cleveland, right? That's really not a SMART goal. SMART goals are what? Again, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. Here's a SMART goal. I want to reduce the poverty rate by 5% in Cleveland for Hispanic children under the age of 5 within a 5-year time frame. Into the chat, everybody. What did I do? How did I change that goal into a SMART goal? Into the chat. What did I do there? Because you're going to have to list SMART goals, right? So you tell me what I did. Into the chat. What did I do? I added details, Rico. Yes, I gave a time frame. G, yes. Added precise details, Bradley. Yes. I added measurables, metrics, things that you can measure. 5%. Hispanic children under the age of 5. 5-year time frame. I added data and stats. Anytime you want to create a SMART goal, you add data and stats. You can use that formula no matter what program or project, right, you're involved in. Now, we're at the money. This is how you are going to spend the grant money. You need to create a budget, but the budget must be itemized. So if you're seeking $50,000 for an executive director, you can't just write, I need 50 grand for an ED. No, itemize. Is it a contracted person? How much are you paying the person an hour? How many hours a week? How many weeks out of the year do you expect them to work for you? Right? You're buying supplies. What supplies are you buying? What do you need them for? How many do you need? How much is each one? Itemize. The explanation or the description of how you're using the grant money, what you're using it for, that goes into the budget narrative. The numbers go into the budget, usually an Excel file. Got it? But itemize. Now, really quickly, sustainability. I'm going to go through this quick. You need to be able to write in that initial grant application. If you don't get the grant money in year 2, how are you going to sustain your program? Because it's not guaranteed that you're going to get grant money in year 2. And so a lot of organizations were getting grant money right in year 1, but when year 2 came and they didn't get a renewal of the grant, there went their whole organization. So now you have to write in that initial application, what are you going to do if you don't get the grant money in year 2? How are you going to sustain sustainability, your operations? So really quickly, we're going to do a quick activity. I want you all to think about a high school. A high school got the $20,000 grant in year 1. to pay for the tutoring program, but they have to write in that application what they were going to do in year two if they didn't get the grant to keep paying that $20,000 for the tutoring program. What do you think they wrote? How do you think a high school could write in a grant application that they can come up with $20,000? Exactly, Denise, fundraising. You know about the old car washes and the bake sales, right? Get the PTO involved, right? Get the PTA involved. Get the community involved, right? So this is what you have to do. You have to come up with ways that you can write in that application. I'm going to be okay if I don't get the grant money in year two. I have a plan. It could be everything, right? Cindy selling those donuts, right? It could be everything from I'm going to increase my ad spend, or I'm going to bring in a volunteer grant writer to get us additional money, right? You have to be creative. You have to be creative. All right. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Oh, Linda, this sounds good. This sounds really good. But I don't have time for this. I don't have time to write grants. I do not have time to write these grants. Remember what I said to you at the beginning? Some grant applications are 2 and 3 pages. Some are 500 words. So I have a question for all of you, and I would like an answer in the chat. Do you have time to get free money? Like, do you have time to get free money? Well, let me see if somebody in the chat has time to get free money. Oh, I'm saying yes. I'm saying absolutely. I'm saying I have time. I'm saying I will make time. I'm saying I have time today. I'm saying yes. So it sounds like you've got time to get free money. So if you've got time to get free money, I need for you to spend just a little time on the process to get the free money. You're going to build some relationships. Yes, you are. People, this is a slide. Now you're going to get this replay later on tonight, but if you want to do a screenshot, whatever you do, this is it. This is as or more important than anything you will ever write in a grant application. And I know this after being in this industry for 16 years and after winning $17 million. This is it. You need to meet with the foundation first. Yes, you need to build this relationship. There's nothing to be afraid of. They want to meet with you. They're considering giving you money. You want to meet with them. You're trying to get their money. And oftentimes in that meeting, oh my gosh, they will give you details about that grant that is not even on their website because you're building a relationship. You get to tell your story, right? And this is critical. Oftentimes, this is the deciding factor as to whether or not grants are provided. Did you meet with the foundation? Did you let them know what you're doing and share your story? These foundations exist to help organizations like yours, right? But yes. And look, these are 30-minute Zoom meetings, by the way. Zoom meetings. I probably set up 1,000 of these in the last 16 years. Always think about one 30-minute Zoom meeting client get $30,000 because the mission's aligned, right? But if you live in close proximity to a foundation, meet with them in person. If not, set up this Zoom meeting. Set up this Zoom meeting. And this is how you're going to do it. You're going to send that foundation that you find. You're going to find the right foundations. It should be more than one, right? Because we're not just submitting one application. You're going to send each foundation, typically it's like a program director or executive director, an email. You're introducing yourself in the email. You're describing your organization. You're talking about who you serve and how you serve them. You are aligning your mission to their mission statement. You are not asking for money. That is the quickest way to get a rejection letter. Trying to send an email asking for money in the email. You're asking for a meeting to discuss funding in the email. All right. And now you need to send this email to a real person at the foundation with a real email address. Now, how are you going to do this? Look, I've been giving you tea all afternoon. This is the teapot here. Getemail.io. You need a real email address, right? To this foundation person. Get Email will give you the email address of almost anybody around the world, right? And it's free. They give you like the first 10 or 15 emails free, and then you subscribe. But use your 5 to 10 emails for free, right? and send this letter. Because if you send this letter, I'm almost positive from my experience, you will get the meeting because this is what they do, right? Now, it's time to find the money. It's grant research time. What are you going to do? Google is great, but you also want to utilize portals that are set up specifically to provide information about grants. Foundation Directory Online is the leading source of information on organizations that provide grants in the United States. They won't give you the actual grant application. They give you a list of organizations. So if you are in Detroit and you're looking, right, for organizations that might fund your program because you help veterans transition back to, right, civilian life, and you put that information in FDO, they're going to give you a number of organizations that provide those kinds of grants. And guess what? This FDO, $50 a month to subscribe. Spend your $50 and get you a list of grants. Or guess what? Free access. Free access at where? Your local library. Grants.gov, you know that's the source for what? Federal grants, right? That's a free site. Lilly Foundation, largest funded religious organizations, including churches. Yes, churches get grant money. Grant Gopher, they have great educational funds. I love Grant Watch and Grant Station. Grant Watch, $20 a week, and they give you the actual grant opening, right? The actual solicitation and the sponsor of the grant and the deadline and the sponsor contact information, name, email address, telephone number. $20 a week. And yes, you can spend your $20 and shut it down. Grant Station is $200 for the whole year. Now, Grant Watch is also $200 for the whole year. Grant Station, I think they do one of the best jobs of allowing you to really hone in on what you're providing, what type of service it is, so that it can do the best job of providing a list of grants for you. All right. UrbanAwarenessUSA.org. They are Black owned. Please sign up for their free newsletter. All right. Tell them Linda saying. I want to show you how you conduct this grant research. This is Grant Station, $200 for the whole year. Look to the right. You are going to plug in the areas of interest. Where are you providing services? Whether it's a product or a program or service, doesn't matter. And for every box you see, there's 15 to 20 drop-down boxes. So you really get to hone in. And if you target the African American population, that's under target populations, right? But if you specifically engage in activities for underserved communities, that's under social services and issues. And let me say something to you about location, because so many of you are just leaving money on the table. You're just leaving money. You're just leaving grant money on the table. You have to start local. People, it's easier to get local grant money. Don't be seduced by these federal grants. These $2 and $3 million federal grants are very difficult to get. Usually need a partner. Start local. Start with your local community foundation. Just start there. If you just Google local community foundation near me and meet with them, you'll be ahead of the game. Ahead of the game, right? But don't disregard your national foundations. There's more of them. Just because a foundation is headquartered in California doesn't mean they're not giving money to you and you're in Connecticut. And for my international friends, I have someone on here from Canada and Costa Rica. This is Grant Station, a person from Canada. Look in the middle of the screen where it says Find Grant Makers. Do you see that? Canadian charitable, Canadian government. There's a special section for you under Grant Station. The person in Costa Rica, do you see that little box in the middle on the geographic scope that says Global Grant Makers? This is not just for organizations here in the United States. You could live in the United States and serve a population in Costa Rica and find grant money. You could live in Costa Rica and have your target population be in Costa Rica and search for grants. Remember, these are global organizations that provide so much of this grant money. So don't think it's just for U.S. organizations, but this is Grant Station, $200 for the whole year. Now, I said I had a list of grants. I do. Most of you have heard of Aunt Jemima, right? You know, they changed their brand name to Pearl Milling Company, and now they have a phenomenal grant. So if you help Black women or Black girls, that's a grant for you. And we're at the end of the year, so a lot of these will say the deadline is passed. Get on their email list because when that next round opens, you want to be informed about it. I won't go through all of these. You are not a Black nonprofit, go to support Black charities for a list of grants. Beauty brands, you have any type of beauty brand that you are creating, beauty product. This could be from your face makeup to lotions to hair products. That round three is opening, right? Do you have a brick and mortar, right? Do you have a physical building? That Main Street grant opens every year. LISC, they've given away $9 billion since 1979, right? They fly under the radar screen. They're only in 6 states. I know Tennessee, Georgia, Ohio, I believe Texas, and two others. If you are a for-profit, as a matter of fact, it doesn't matter. Go to LISC and see if they operate in your state and meet with them. Do you have a hair care salon or providing hair care products? Shea Moisture, that grant opened in October. I don't know if it's closed yet. I won't go through all of these. Ford Foundation, are you working on any type of film or documentary talking about the Black experience? That's one of the largest foundations in the world. They have a grant. Let's go down to Amarillo. Now, you might be saying, Linda, I'm so small. I'm teeny tiny. There's no grant money for me. That's not true. Organizations like Amarillo, all they do is provide grant money to super small organizations. Or you might be saying, Linda, I don't even have a paid staff. I can't even pay myself. I don't have some large organizational chart. You don't need some large organizational chart. You know what you need? Impact. Amarillo gives grants to all volunteer organizations. I know all volunteer organizations, they get grant money. Mustard Seed, they only give to faith-based organizations, right? You may need money for a startup. Busy and Sky's the Limit. They both have grants for startups. Now, I know there are a lot of women on here. I'm going to go through this quickly. HelloAlice.com, sign up if you are a woman business owner. You want to know when those grants release. Nerd Wallet has a list. Bankrate has a list of grants for Black women, right? I won't go through them all. Cartier has a program. Yes, the jewelry company. Amber Grants for Women, whatever you do, please sign up. They give away $30,000 every single month. All right. I had a designer with me yesterday, right? Tory Burch, famous designer. They have a special program for women of color. All right. All right. Now, everybody, I want you to put into the chat. What is the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about banks and money? Banks and money, like banks and money. Like what comes to your mind when you think about banks and money? Anybody, enter the chat. Banks and money. What do you think about? Loans, business account, credit score. Did you know that banks are some of the largest providers of grants in the United States? We're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars given in grants. You're not going to the right bank. You're not going to the right person at the bank. It doesn't have to be your bank. It can be a bank with a great regional presence or maybe a headquarters. We're fortunate in Northeast Ohio. One of the largest foundations in the state is Key Bank's foundation, PNC Bank, Citizens Bank. I'm going to give you 4 hot leads. Bank of America, largest bank in the country. They give to for-profits and nonprofits. Wells Fargo, they have their program is so good. Not only do they give away grant money, they serve as a grant administrator for hundreds of other foundations, right? TD Banks. TD Banks really operates, I think, on the East Coast and in the South. The last one is Truist, Truist. Truist. All right. All right. Now, really quickly, I want to say something about artificial intelligence and grant writing because it's here. It's not coming. It's here. It is a phenomenal, phenomenal, phenomenal tool. But you use it as a tool, never replacement. At the end of the day, you must learn how to write this grant application because that is what you're feeding into programs like AI to make your writing even better. but you got to be able to learn how to write the foundation of this work. AI will not write some magical grant application for you. That's not even how they work. You have to feed it information. And it's great for like re-editing. Maybe you wrote your need statement, but it's 500 words and the grant application says they only want 100 words. You put it into AI, you will get a beautiful 100-word document, right? So just keep that in mind. It's a tool, never a replacement. That comes to my bonus surprise because this money is here, people. This money is available, and now more so than ever before, you're going to need to place yourself in a position to learn how to get it. Like nobody is coming to rescue us. It's not going to happen, right? And we don't know what's going to happen in 2025. We keep hearing that the government's going to be cut. Do you know that a lot of this grant money originates with the government agencies? A lot of it is filtered down through the state, especially like your child care grants, your Department of Justice grants for people who help those who've been in the criminal justice system. Is filtered down through the federal government. So that's why you've got to place yourself in a position where you know where to look, you know how to look, you know where to go. That no matter how hard they make it, you have a way in because you know what to do. So I created a grant writing course that includes my coaching that will lead you, that will lead you and guide you. This course will teach you how to write every part of your grant application. And I give you grant research techniques so that you know how to find these organizations that want to give you as a Black organization, and they are still out there, money. But there are so many, right, that can give to your organizations regardless of your ethnicity. But you don't have to know how to find them. But let's say you find a foundation and you want to set up that meeting. You've set up the meeting. You come into the Facebook group. I have a private Facebook group where you can ask questions, right? So I can tell you what to say in the meeting, how to say it, what do you bring, what do you listen for, what are the key words. That's where the coaching comes in, right? The course will teach you how to write your budget. But do you know whether or not you should be applying for operating money or for your program? And how much should you be asking for? That's where the coaching comes in. There's a Facebook group, private group. You come in, you ask questions. I also provide a live session every single month. You get 12 modules, 35 lessons. And this is why this course is so different, because for 16 years, I've been writing applications. I no longer write grants, by the way, but I used to. And so I've taken those grant questions. I've been hired to build grant applications, to write the questions, right? So I've taken those questions and I built this course so that you know ahead of time what to expect, but you're writing in a place that provides support. So if you have any questions, you can get your questions answered. And by the time you're done, you have this beautiful grant template that you're not going to use when you go and you start applying for grants, because now you have a template. And yes, I give you grant examples in every grant example won money, right? And I give you a list now. This just increased over 600 because we keep adding funders. I give you a list of over 600 organizations, 600 that provide grants. And yes, you get the private Facebook group. And yes, you get the 1-hour group coaching. That's not just one and done. I'm trying to help you get this money. That's every month. Free. There was one Monday, lasted almost 2 hours because I am there until your questions are answered. This is not what you're paying for the course. This is important. This is what the course is worth. I don't believe in putting in fake numbers, get numbers out of the sky. I've had my course audited 3 times. The modules are worth $3,549. The videos are worth $599. The funding list, which just keeps increasing, is worth over $500. Yes, you get templates, workbooks, planners, grant trackers, $350. But this is the slide that you need to see, because I am literally almost giving away the course because you need this information. I want you to be ready in January. Now, I have services that literally are probably 80, 100 times that amount. But this course, is what I give to the masses because I know it can help you. And it includes my coaching. So the value is $5,000. So my retail price is $997. I try to keep it on sale for $497. That's usually what you'll see it at. But you came on the webinar letting me know you need help. So for the next 3 days and 3 days only, you get to take 50% off of even the $497 price. Like it's happy holidays, people. $247 for everything I just said. The entire course, the Facebook group, the live group coaching. I have friends who charge $2,000 for their grant writing course. Not only do they not give you what I do, you certainly don't have access to them, right? But I know that this can help you. You've got to use the code to get the 247 payment. DEC18N. The link is being dropped in the chat. The link is being dropped in the chat to buy the course. But if you need extra help, it's the holidays. I can give you 2 months to pay. $137.50 now, and in 30 days, your last $137.50. Put a 2 on the end of the code so that we know you want a 2-month payment plan. And guess what? I don't drip my course. I just don't believe in that. Because we're talking about grants. You need this information and you need it now. Because there may be a grant coming up, a deadline that's coming up. I don't like drip, drip, drip. You get everything, even if you only pay $137.50 now. And you read that right at the bottom. The course never expires. All right, this is everything you get. The letter of inquiry is especially important because that LOI is what a lot of foundations are using to get you to apply, right? So first you complete the LOI, and then if they like it, they invite you to write the full grant. The LOI is usually maybe about 2 or 3 pages, but it's important. That's why I have an entire lesson on it. There's a lesson on every part of the grant application: writing your budgets, your needs statement, your intro, your history. How do you find these organizations, right? These are your codes right here. You have until 3 days, Saturday, to get the additional 50% off, right? To get it for $247, right? So I'm going to show you how you order, right? So to get the $247 price, you're doing what? You're taking 50% off of the $497. So you hit the $497. It will take you to this page here. Look to the left, $497. That's what people normally pay, but you happen to have a huge coupon. Most people don't have a coupon. You can put that coupon code DEC18N. Look what it does. It takes off 50%. You'll pay $247. Now look at this little block here. That is a special VIP session. It's a private session between you and me. I do a deep dive into your organization. And in that 1 hour, I get you together. Because before you and I talk about grants, I'm going to analyze your mission statement, your vision, your infrastructure, your target population, and your programs or your projects or your services. Then we're going to get a list of local and national grants. 1 hour strategy session. You get the strategy notes and you even get the video. It's $495. You leave it perfect clarity. The only time you will see it for $195 is if you buy it along with the course. You've got to buy it with the course, or else you'll pay what other people pay, and that's $495, but it's only $195. Now, let's say you want extra help. It's the holiday. Buy now, pay later. Affirm Afterpay or Klarna, right? When you go through the application to buy the course, you hit additional ways to pay. And then you hit another box that says next payments. And you will see Affirm, Afterpay, or Klarna. And guess what? They have 6 months. 6 months, same as cash. So your $247, you can spread out over 6 months. You might get a grant before you even paid for the course, right? And this is about you being tired of using your own money and wanting to find ways that you can place yourself in position to actually start winning some grant funding. Now, if you want to make the 2-payment plan, hit 2 times 275. It will bring you to this page. But remember, you've got a coupon code, so you're not paying $275 a month for 2 months. You input your code, you're only paying $137.50 now and then in 30 days. And yes, you can add on the $195. There's no Afterpay or Klarna available with the 2-month payment plan because you already have a plan. That's if you want the 6-month plan, you go through Klarna or Afterpay or Affirm. All right. Hope that's clear. I want everybody to look at this slide because this is Whitney. Whitney never thought she would get any grants, but she's a student. She's doing exactly what I'm asking you to do. Think about this investment. $247. Whitney got $200,000. She did what I'm asking you to do. She started with the Southern Power Fund locally, gave her $40,000. Then she went to the National Birth Equity Collaborative. They gave her $50,000. And let me tell you something about visibility. Whitney believed in pushing out information about her resources, her wins, her impact. She has a doula organization where she helps Black women especially have healthy births. She kept pushing out the information. And guess who took notice? The Kellogg Foundation. Because they give money in that area. And they're like, oh, Whitney, would you please apply to our $75,000 grant? How would you like a foundation to approach you and ask you to apply to their grant? Do you think she got it? You think she got the $75,000? Yes. For you LLCs, right? Tranquility Point Therapeutic Massage. This is a massage company. They got a $20,000 grant. They said, we both wanted to share a wonderful, fabulous news. Our small business was awarded a $20,000 grant. We are so very thankful and grateful for your course. It's been life-changing for our business, life-changing. What can you do with a $20,000 grant? What can you do with $200,000 for a $247 investment? Christina never received any grants before ever, got $10,000. She says, may I share that I'm so grateful for Linda. I would not have had the confidence to follow through on applying for grants if it wasn't for her grant writing course. The depth of information provided is unmatched. For you churches, yes, there's grant money for you. Reverend Chris got $35,000. Natalie took the course and became so adept at writing grants. She's now a professional grant writer. She got $50,000 for a local church. And Tabitha received a grant. April entered a pitch competition. If any of you are going to enter pitch competitions, the course is great. She said, Linda, you told me how to tell my story. Won $9,000, beat out 100 other competitors because she knew how to tell her story because she took the course. Quanisha got that $750 Walmart grant. She bought the one-on-one. She said, thanks, Linda Peavy, because that one-on-one session we had is getting my organization funded. Kimberly got 4 sponsorships in less than 2 months. Ask me the difference between a grant and a sponsorship when we get into the Q&A. You will want to know. And that's now. It's Q&A time, people. I'm done. It's Q&A time. It's Q&A time. It's Q&A. And I'm going to address some of the comments and the questions in the chat because some of them are incorrect, just flat out incorrect. And you're not going to leave here with misinformation. No, 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 no. All right. So what I want you to do first, before you do anything else, I want you to do this for you, not me. I want everybody that is still here, and I mean everybody, to write into this chat, I'm ready to get grant money. I believe in manifestation. I believe in writing out what you're trying to do. Some of you have been waiting for so long, right, to just learn about grants, right? So into the chat, all of you, like, get this out, get this out. Time is up. It's the end of December. January will be here. You need to be ready day one to go get this money because a lot of organizations give grants on a first come, first serve basis, right? So I want you to be ready, right? And again, we don't know what's going to happen in 2025. All we're hearing about is cuts, 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 right? And tariffs. And this is not regardless of your political affiliations, right? So if companies are hit with tariffs, you know they're going to start doing what? Raising prices or cutting back. Where do you think they're going to cut? And they give grant money. Yeah, that may be one of the areas. So that's why you've got to learn how to find organizations, opportunities. You will know where to look, right? You won't have to guess. It won't be problematic anymore because you'll be in a safe space, a community. And I've provided a safe space here. I have to tell you about something that happened in the Facebook group. That's what I'm talking about, Tony. Like, write this down. Tony Denise Chaveria Is that it? I'm ready to get grant money. Like, get this out of your system. Like, be ready. Lashika, right? Pamela. Sure. It is Sharice. Mardisa. Like, write this down. I'm ready to get grant money. Gwendolyn, young lady. Oh my gosh, 2 weeks ago, this woman told me that she had had her nonprofit for 17 years, had never received a grant. It just hurt my heart. It literally just hurt my heart. Come get this help. Come get this help, right? This is, they don't give me the full name. I don't know why. Thomas. Yes, Shadria, write this down, Bradley. I'm ready to get this grant money, right? Cherie, Miles. Yes, this is important. The writing down of this, believe it or not, is important because it puts you one step further. What I don't want you to do is sit on this information. I would love for you to buy the course, right? It's a small amount of money that you're going to end up writing off anyway. Yes, you write off the course. It's totally tax deductible, right? But I want you to move forward. I don't want this to be another course that you sit on this information. It, even if you don't buy the course from me, even if you don't buy the course, get this information on this webinar because you're going to need it in January. You are going to need this information in January. That's why I don't charge for it. And I don't put some expiration date on it because this I do for my community, right? You're going to need this information. That's what I'm talking about. Miles, Omika. This is it Dawood? G, Glory? The writing down is important, believe it or not. Tantanat, is that right? Terry, right? Rosalind, Mardisa, Shavira, like Denise, right? Like write this down. Get this out of your system. This is important. Like people know I'm a huge sports fan. We're in the fourth quarter, people. We're literally in the fourth quarter. Time to get off the sidelines. Time to get off the sidelines. Either you get in this game or you're going to get left behind. It's real simple. If you are, people who buy this course are serious about getting grant money, right? But don't be looking around a month from now saying you heard about some grant money somewhere when you could be researching and writing grants and hopefully winning grants. Really quickly, a young lady came into the Facebook group. She's a student. Somebody told her, if you give me $250, I'll write all these grants for you. She did it. She gave him the money. She knew something was wrong. She came into the Facebook group. She created a post that said, something doesn't feel right. Haven't heard from them. Gave them this money. The students converged on the post and said, who are they? We're going to research them for you. Like the students in this Facebook group, they don't play around. They researched and said, yeah, they're scammers. They're scammers because the students want all the other students to win. You want to know where there are grants? Come to the Facebook group. There are plenty of grants. And guess what? The students drop probably more grants than I do. And I'm not one of those creators where you buy something from me and you don't ever see me again. You'll be sick of seeing this face in the Facebook group. I'm in there all the time. All right. Come there for help. Come on the group call for help. It's Q&A time. All right. Let's see. Is this live? Is this live, people? Answer her in the chat. Answer her in the chat. She wants to know if this is live. Will these grants pay for personnel and salaries? Absolutely. A lot of, especially your operating grants, especially your operating grants. All right. Especially people, especially your operating grants. They will especially pay for personnel and salaries. I am doing a startup shuttle business transporting workers to work and return. Is it possible to get a grant before you start operating? Yes, it's possible to get a startup grant. All right, let's see. Are you able to provide a sample letter to the foundation? Thank you for the question. Are you able to provide a sample letter to the foundation or organizations? Absolutely. You get templates with the course. So if you come into the Facebook group, remember I said you have to send a letter to the foundation? to meet with them, I have a template. I'm trying to make this easy for you. Remember, I talked about partnerships. You want to set up a partnership with an organization. I have a template in the Facebook group. I have an entire grant application template. So as you are answering the questions in the lessons, you can write your answer in this Word document. It's already set up as a template that coincides with the course, right? You want a thank you letter after you get the grant money, a template in the course, right? So yes, there are templates. Ah, I love this question. How much does a professional grant writer make per grant? What is the percentage? Now, I could talk about this for an hour, but I won't. When you work with a professional grant writer, right, you do not pay them ever a percentage of the grant. Like a professional grant writer, you don't pay them if you get the grant. Remember, I said grants are not guaranteed? A professional grant writer will always be paid up front. Always. Once they start writing the grant and when they submit that grant, right? So you don't pay a professional grant writer a percentage of the grant because what if you don't get the grant and they provided this work for you? If you're ready to work with a professional grant writer, there are several ways. You can pay them per grant, right? Or you can pay them every month to write multiple grants for you. So let's say you pay them $3,000 a month. They're going to be writing multiple grants for you in the course of that month. Or it could be per grant, right? Let's say it's a $50,000 grant. You decide how much you want to pay them to write that one grant, right? Now, you can always give them a bonus if they get the grant for you, but it can't come out of the grant money. You cannot pay a grant writer out of the grant money. Let's say you do get the grant. You can't pay the grant writer out of the grant money. You cannot use grant money to pay for any expenses that were incurred before you got the grant. That's illegal. All right. So if you buy the course and you come into the group, Facebook group, ask me the best way of working with a grant writer, and I will help you through that. Because grant writers take the course. There are grant writers in the Facebook group, professional grant writers in the Facebook group, right? Because they want to learn how to write grants better, right? And remember, I said people become so great at writing grants, they become professional grant writers. All right? All right. So that was the Q&A. I'm going to go up to the webinar chat because I want to do this slowly because I saw some comments and I saw questions that I want to address. So I'm going to just go through here slowly. Someone has an organization where they're fighting for children's rights. What rights? What does that mean? I answered the question about do these work in Canada? You have to be specific, right? Be specific. How are you helping the children? Children advocates for what? Is it for mental health? Is it for autism? Is it for sexual abuse? What is it for specifically? All right. Independent musician. Do you know that there are grants for musicians? That's arts and culture, right? Let's see. Let's see. I'm going slow. Yes, you write it off. It is, let's say you're a for-profit, you're a small business. It is totally tax deductible. This is a business expense. This is an educational expense. If you're a nonprofit, you don't pay taxes, so you list the course, the price of the course that you paid as an expense. All right, just going through here. Yeah, so you only pay two payments, $137.50 now, and then $137.50 a month from now, if you take the two payment plan, but you get everything now. Those of you who are buying the course, you're going to get 3 emails. One will be the link to the Facebook group. You've got to be in the Facebook group. The second is your email that will ask you to set up your username and password. You get started. You're not waiting for me. This course is all online, all digital. Go at your own pace. Come into the Facebook group for questions on the group coaching call. And by the way, when you get into the Facebook group, you will see all of the past group coaching calls because there are questions that are asked live that I know will probably help most of you. Homelessness, homeless and children. So does that mean homeless children, or do you help the homeless population and then children? And then how are you helping them? What do you do? Don't sleep on video. High school and current college students with scholarships to four-year universities. Let me say something to you about this. It is super rare that you're ever going to get a grant to give scholarships to students. That is not what foundations want. They don't want to give you money to then just turn around and give that money away. They want to give you money to help shore up your organization. So ask for the grant money, but don't put in the application that you're going to use that money to give away scholarships. You can use the grant money to shore up your organization. Maybe you need contractors, right, to meet with the students. Maybe you need people to design the applications that will determine whether or not you're going to help the student. Maybe you create mock tests, right, that students can take, right? You need help with that. You need people to design that. You need a staff. Use the money for that. But don't say you're going to use the money to then give it away for scholarships, right? That doesn't work. Somebody said youth sports and education. I'm just going to take youth sports. All of you, all of you should be looking in multiple categories for grants. I'm going to take youth sports, right? You're a Black-owned organization. Look for grants for Black-owned organizations. That's one. You help youth. That's youth development. That's the second category. Now you're saying is youth sports. Sports, that is a category, right? So that's three right there you can be looking in. The NBA, they have grants, right? NASCAR has grants. And NASCAR has a program specifically that's geared towards communities of color. Did you know that? NASCAR. Now, you have a youth sports program. This is for all of you. Don't limit what you're doing to grants. You have a youth sports program, go to your local Dick's Sporting Goods store, ask for a gift card, right? Ask for a $500 gift card or a $1,000 gift card or a $1,500 gift card so that you can buy these kids equipment from Dick's Sporting Goods. Use your local resources. Now, that brings me to the difference between a grant and a sponsorship. With a grant, the organization can't expect anything back from you. No, they can't expect something of value back from you because they gave you a grant. That's why banks can't insist that you become a member just because they give you a grant. There can't be anything tangible of value. Now, they can expect you to write a report as to how you spent the grant money. Sponsorships are totally different. With a sponsorship, we spent a lot of time. I had a webinar yesterday. We spent so much time on sponsorships. When you get a sponsorship, expect the organization to want something from you. Because if they give you a sponsorship, maybe they want to speak at your event or put their name on your logo or put their name on your step and repeat board or put their little widget into your swag bag, right? Or place an ad in your program booklet. Some of you should be seeking local businesses for sponsorships especially if you have events. Or let's say you work with youth and you have a program where you're helping to fill book bags back to school. Go to your local businesses for help. It's so much easier than you think, right? I have the template letters in the course. We were talking yesterday, and I want to give you an example that I gave yesterday because people had a hard time grasping this. Let's say you have a program where you teach lawyers how to better market their legal firms. That's what you do. You have a for-profit LLC. You work with attorneys to help them better market their services. Let's say you're going to have a convention, a conference, a workshop, right? Workshop, you're bringing attorneys together to help them better market their services. You need to reach out to community organizations, right? So that's where you reach out to the car dealership. Car dealerships are notorious for sponsoring local events. Let's say you reach out to, these are attorneys, right? They typically have a higher income. Let's say you go to your Mercedes dealership or your Lexus dealership, right? Or your Cadillac dealership. and you ask for sponsorship money so that they can park their car in front of the conference, right, building so that people can see their car before they go in. And you've gotten a $50,000 grant, right, or a sponsorship from them so that they can park their car and people can see their car on the way to your conference, right? This does not even have to be difficult, but this is where you need coaching so that you know what to do. All right. All right. I hope that makes sense to everybody. All right. I'm going to go through here again. As an independent musician, how will this impact me? Yes, I need an operating grant to help me get started and cover my operating expenses to help me launch my website and music business. Well, you're an independent musician. You need help. You need finances. You need a website, right? You need a social media person to help get word about your work out and your music out, right? The Grammys, they have a grant. The I believe is the Recording Arts and Sciences Foundation, right? It's the foundation that literally houses the Grammys. They have grants. Do you know that there are organizations specifically that give grants based on music, right? But you know what else you could do as an independent musician? Why don't you start giving music lessons? Start giving music lessons. So now you're asking money to not only support what you do as an independent musician, but you can ask for money to help you give music lessons, right? You're in arts and culture, so you're going to be looking for grants in arts and culture, right? So there's many different ways as an independent musician that you need help. You need a PR person to promote your gigs, right? Do you have money to pay a PR person? Probably not, right? A lot of people, most people don't. That's where you could use some grant money. A social media person to work on your Instagram page, put your videos out, right? Does that make sense to everybody? All right. All right. Let's see. I'm going down to the bottom here, and then I'll go back over to the Q&A, and then we'll wrap it up. We'll be done. All right. Let's see. Other questions? Thank you, Cindy. Cindy says, I appreciate you. Many people don't and won't even help you. Yeah, that's sad. Tony says, money don't sleep, and I can't sleep on it. People, I cannot explain to you how important it is going to be for you to do something in January. I just can't even share with you how important it's going to be. Time is out for sitting on the sidelines. Time is out. My coach always tells me we're the ones we've been waiting on. Nobody's coming to rescue us. Nobody. Rescue yourself. Rescue yourself. All right. SAM.gov. Let me say to you a couple of words about SAM.gov. So if you are seeking government grants or maybe a government contract or even a corporate contract, you need SAM.gov. So register in SAM.gov. You need your UEI, your unique entity identifier. There's no longer such a thing as a DUNS number. They're UEIs. So that's when you have to go into SAM.gov. For the grants that I'm talking about today, the grants that come from corporations or foundations, you don't need certification. You don't need to be in SAM.gov. But if you're going after city, county, state, federal grants, contracts, you need to be in SAM.gov. If you're going after a certification, let's say you want to become certified as a WBE, Women Business Enterprise, MBE, Minority Business Enterprise, VOBE, Veteran-Owned Business Enterprise, you need certifications. You need certifications. And I partner with a young lady who is the contract queen. She's secured over $30 million in contracts for her clients. So we work together. If you're interested in that program, which is totally separate than the grant writing, it's a program to get you certified. You can let us know. Send us an email. Melissa, if you could drop my email into the chat. You need my email address anyway, because I want you to put it on your safe senders list, your contact email list, so that this replay that you're going to get tonight doesn't go to your spam. But if you're interested in that program where we help you get certified as an MBE, WBE, VOBE, you can send us an email. All right. So that's how you use sam.gov, government grants, government contracts. All right. Let's see, other, go to your credit union for the sponsorship and the bank for the grants or the sponsorships. Now, someone said it's hard to get here regardless of credit score. I'm not sure what you mean. I don't know if you mean hard to get here as in hard to get a grant, because let me say to all of you, you are seeking grant money for your organization, your separate entity, whether it's a nonprofit or for profit, not you. I have never seen an organization ask for a credit score for you before they gave you a grant to your organization. I've never seen it. I'm 16 years in. I've never seen it done. I've never seen it done. Don't think that you're going to have to give up your credit score to get a grant from these organizations. I've never seen it happen. Loans are totally different, but a grant, haven't seen it yet. All right. All right. So you've got 3 days to get the additional 50% off. People, it's $247. It's $247 for everything. Get the help you need because you're going to need the help in January. And in January is so important because first come, first serve for some of the grants. There are grants available year round. All right. All right. Let me make sure that I have answered all of the questions and then we're going to wrap it up. All right. All right. Right. Increased price and then cutting grant money. Not sure what that means. You can increase your price as a way to show organizations that you can afford to fund your program in year 2. That can be a strategy to say, look, I'm going to increase my prices. Oh, but if you meant what these organizations are going to do, yeah, they're going to, you're right. A lot of these organizations, to afford the tariffs if they happen, they're going to increase their pricing and then cut where they're giving, right? They're going to cut where they're giving. That's why you've got to know where to look. You have to know where to look. And yes, there's absolutely money. These organizations are earmarking Black organizations. You're not going to hear about it in the news. Again, I just got back from Atlanta from a global conference. Recognizable names. You won't hear it in the media. You won't hear it in the media. Already needed program ideas ready to start. Funding needed. I've been doing the work before I started my nonprofit. Okay, out of pocket. Sounds like you're ready to start. All right. Okay, for those of you who are asking about business plans, so a grant application is very similar to a business plan. Only in business plans, you have to talk more about marketing, your marketing plan, right? But if you complete the course and you answer my questions, you will have 90% completed what is needed for a business plan. Because nobody wants to do extra work, right? If you complete the course and write out the answers, you will have 90% completed what you need for a business plan. But if you're interested in getting help writing, if you just need to write a business plan, go to SCORE, SCORE. They're funded by the Small Business Administration and they help with business plans. Also, I have like budget templates if you need to know how to better write a budget. Let's see. I'm going to go back up because I see a lot of questions at the bottom. All right. I have a historic property. Should funds be available to restore and start helping my area community? I'm going to put this in. Yes. Oh my gosh, there's so many different ways you can search for grants and get grants. One, this is a community, right? So community development. So you should be going to your bank asking for a community development grant, but I'm going to write this off the top of my head, www. I think it's historicfunding.com. I'm putting in here historicfunding.com. because on that site, all they do is list grants that are geared towards restoration of historical properties. So you're going to see a bunch of grants in there. All right, let me go back up, answer the rest of these questions, and then we're going to wrap it up. Let's see. Okay, thank you. All right, thanks. All right, let's see. I've used thousands of dollars on my personal money to fund my nonprofit. Am I allowed to use this info to create a budget? Oh, absolutely. It doesn't matter where the money came from. Absolutely, you because now you know what you've spent, right? Now you know approximately how much money it took to operate your nonprofit over the course of a year. There's your budget. Absolutely, you can. I have a healthcare consulting firm, small business, and I just began government contracting. How can I identify grants that match my capabilities and my goals? So I give you what four or five resources to look. You have a small business. So when you go under Grant Watch, they're $20 a week, put in small business, right? So you serve other small businesses. So that's business and industry. That's another category. But you want to check off the fact that you're a small business. But when you look at the categories, check off things like business industry, consulting, right? If you use Grant, that was Grant Watch. If you use Grant Station, there are multiple categories, right? Business and industry. What are you providing? You're providing a service. Look at the categories. When you go into these grant portals, look at the categories. There will be categories that match what you're doing. All right. Let's see. I want to go back up to the top because I think I missed a few. All right. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. All right. Can a church that is not a 501c3 registered entity get a grant? Not likely. You need to get your 501c3. That's my advice to you, is get your 501c3. Even if you are a church, which means you're a nonprofit, you need the 501c3 because foundations that give the money are mandated by their board of directors to only give their grant money to nonprofits with a 501c3. So get your 501c3. And in the interim, research and write grants so that when you get the 501c3 document, you're a church. It is not going to be difficult for you at all, right? It should be seamless for you to get a 501c3. Because if your church is going to be raising money, you need that 501c3 because that needs to be separate, right, from your church money, right? It needs to be separate, right? You have identify a 501c3 and you could, let's say the name of your church is ABC Church. Create an ABC Church Foundation, give it a 501c3, and that's where you're going to be writing grants and raising money. All right? So absolutely, you'll need the 501c3. Yes, shore up your organization. That's what the operational grants are for, right? Hire staff, pay your lease, right? Multiple businesses, third business want to start a real estate school. That's great. But make sure you're doing super well in your first two businesses. Like I don't ever advise people to just keep creating businesses unless they're doing very well. They're like multiple six figures, very well in their initial businesses. Because you're one person, right? You need to decide where are you going to place your energy. And if you keep starting businesses, unless you have a huge staff, right? Think about this. Where do you want to place your energy? All right. I have a few programs in mind. I'm glad you mentioned that because part of what I do when I coach, I do grant coaching too. So if you're interested in just grant coaching for me to coach you on a regular basis, we meet regularly. I make sure that you are applying for grants. I make sure that you are following up. I do grant coaching. You can use the email address to send me an email. But even in the hour private VIP session that you can now get for $195, in that session, if you don't know where to go, let's say you need focus, like most entrepreneurs, you got 1,000 ideas in your head. You don't know which one to focus on. I will get you focused in that hour. I will get you focused so that when you leave that meeting, you know exactly which one you should be spending your time and energy on. Because I serve as that sounding board. And again, I serve as a professional business coach anyway. All right. All right. Let's see. I'm looking for grants as a children's author, babysitter, and tutor. Now, the two best ones will be the fact that you are a tutor. That means you're a teacher, you're in education, right? The children's book author, yes, there are grants for authors. I was asked to do a presentation to two different Facebook author groups, and it forced me to write and do a deep dive as to where money is available for authors. And yes, there's money available for authors. Okay, to help students prepare to take their, I'm not sure what that is, style ball and state, B style ball and state real estate exams. That's fine. I'm going to say something to all of you that will help. Three areas where you should be looking for grants. One is your mission statement. Align your mission statement to the mission of the foundations. Two, your industry. A lot of you leave money on the table because you're not going to your industries. She's mentioning she wants to teach real estate exams. Do you know that real estate organizations have grants? I mean, I know of real estate associations that literally have grants. They give grant money, right? That's where you have to know where to go and where to look. That's what the course will help you do. And if you have questions, you come into the Facebook group. In the course, there's something called a discussion starter. You can ask me a question right in the lesson, and get feedback, right? So industry, those of you in the transportation industry, FedEx has grants. They're in transportation. You want to open up a hair care salon, go to your beauty product stores or companies. Shea Moisture has a grant if you want to open up a beauty salon, right? You want to open up a child care center, that's early childhood education. Most of that money comes from the federal government, the Department of Education. Look to your industry, right? And the last is your ethnicity, gender. There are grants for you because you're a woman. There are grants for you because you're a person of color. All right. So those three areas, don't forget about those. Young adult women that have aged out of the foster care, that's another area. If you go to grantstation.com where we just were, there is a category specifically a target population for foster care. Specifically, you could literally check that box and you're going to get a list of organizations that provide money that give to organizations that serve foster care. Could be foster care families, people who've aged out of foster care. All right. Same way with reentry, nothing different, same way. Reentry, the Department of Justice has reentry grants. And this is something else that I'm going to share with you because I see this reentry. Your local community, this is for all of you. Let me talk to all of you. Did you know that your city government has grants? You need to be meeting with your city council people, your city officials. And for reentry, it serves a city to have organizations that work with reentry, that work with people who are leaving the criminal justice system to reenter into society, because everybody wants the recidivism rate to be low, right? That's the rate at which people who've been in jail go back to jail. Everybody wants that to be low because they want these people to be productive members of society. So cities have a vested interest in what you're doing. You need to be meeting with your city officials, but also the Department of Justice has a program. All right. And then all of you need to meet with your local community foundations. Can a sole proprietor receive grants from the foundations in which you are familiar? They do all the time. They do all the time. All right. All right. Let's see. I believe we're done. I believe we are done. Let's see. Tony says, I'm on the rescue. I can't wait any longer. No, you can't, Tony, and neither can any of the rest of you. Neither can any of the rest of you. All right. It's December 18th. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Don't be looking around here a month from now, looking, saying that you heard about some grants when you could be in a community of support. Let's see. How can I identify grants for transitional living facility for families? And would this be considered an operational organization to pay my workers? It depends on where you want to use the money. You can get operating grant money to hire workers, but you actually have a program where you're helping people to enter into transitional living facilities. So that means you need a program director, or you need people to maybe interview the families. That's all a part specifically of your program, right? So you can do both. People is not one or the other. It's only one or the other per foundation. So you can go to foundation one and ask for operating money, go to foundation two and ask for program project money. It's not one or the other. You all should at any time be working on more than one grant. All right. All right. All right. Let's see. The Facebook group is grant writing for non-writers, but you have to be a student to get in. A lot of people try, but you have to be a student to get in. Oh my goodness, Eric has a grant due in 2 days. So for all of you, this is what we offer. And this is on, I have to be super clear about this. This is on a volunteer basis. When you buy the course and enter into the grant portal for the Facebook group, you can place part of your grant application and ask on a volunteer basis. This is not going to be guaranteed. On a volunteer basis for somebody to put a second set of eyes on that grant. Come into the group and ask. If I'm in the group at that time, I'll certainly skim it for you. But again, I have professional grant writers, CEOs of large organizations. Come in and ask. Come in and ask. There's 2,000 students in the Facebook group. Come in and ask. Right? So you could do that, Eric. There's a portal, there's a file portal in the Facebook group. Right? I'm hired to do a deep dive grant review. That's $1,500 line by line, right? So you can certainly hire me to do that, but it's more economical if you come into the Facebook group and pay for a $247 course. Come into the Facebook group and you can drop portions of the grant. Just ask for a second set of eyes. Any of you can do that if you buy the course and come into the group. Or maybe you have a pitch deck that you want us to review, right? That you're going to send out to sponsors, or a sponsorship kit. The group is here to serve you. All right. All right. I believe we are done. Oh, let me go over to the Q&A one more time, and then we're done. How do you go about getting free business email accounts and websites? I mean, there's GoDaddy. I don't know if it's free, but I mean, Gmail is free. Like, you don't pay for Gmail, but if you want an organization to host it, right? I don't know if GoDaddy has any free services, but that's also a place where you could possibly ask for grant money, is to get your website developed. Now, websites do not spend a lot of money on a website. Like Wix and what is it, Squarespace, you can develop your own website because they make it super easy. They have templates now. Like Wix has a template, Squarespace has a template. You can do your own website, right? But you have to do that research, because I don't know off the top of my head about free business email accounts and websites. But I don't think Wix is very expensive. I don't think Squarespace is very expensive. Right. But if you buy the course and you come into the group and you ask that question, I guarantee you somebody in the Facebook group will be able to answer that question for you, because we have so many people in the Facebook group and they have as much as I do. A domestic violence holistic reentry into society. Okay. All right. So you counsel people who've been victims of domestic violence. All right. So, like, what do? Do you provide them with mental health counseling? If you do, that's a whole different category where you should be searching for grants. So not only is it, so you help women, there's usually a category called women and girls. So that's what you help with domestic violence. But also, let's say you give them mental health services. That's another category where you could be looking for grants. Okay, I answered the question about the church and the sole proprietorship. I have my 501(c)(3). How can I stand out for grants? So go back through the replay because I covered all of that in the replay. Is how you answer these questions. But also it's getting the coaching so that you know, right? The additional way that you move the needle to get more visible. But go back through the replay that you're going to get tonight because I went through that information about how you talk about impact, how you talk about the numbers, how you need to meet right with the foundation. Because if you meet with the foundation, they're going to pull your grant. If you meet with them, they're going to pull your grant to take another look at it, right? If you've already submitted it, if you've submitted it already, because some people submit the grant and then meet with the foundations, they're going to pull it, right? Or if you meet with them, now they're going to look for it, right? Because they know it's coming. Can I get a grant for a for-profit? Yes, that's what we've been talking about all day, right? The grants are for profits and nonprofits. There's grant money for both. Absolutely. There's grant money for both. All right. So those were the last of the questions in the Q&A. I don't see any more for the webinar chat. So we're done. But let me tell you, it's always good to stay until the end because I have a ton of bonuses, even on top of what you see now, because it's a holiday season. I'm giving this to you. I am giving this to you right now. If you buy the course, right, you've got 3 days. I have a document. How many of you do you know what BIPOC means? BIPOC, I want to drop it into the chat. BIPOC is Black, Indigenous, People of Color. When you go into Grant Watch, check that category. It will give you a list of grants that's geared towards Black, Indigenous, People of Color. But I have a separate cultivated list of grants, almost 300 grants of organizations that support Black, Indigenous, People of Color. Almost 300 grant opportunities. If you buy the course, I will give you that list free. I created a mini training on artificial intelligence because I told you it's not coming, it's here. It will help you to write better, faster, quicker, smarter. It's $99, right? It's an intro, like a mini guide. I will give you that free. Those 2 free gifts. And my assistant will tell you, I do not do this, right? But it's the end of the year and I just want you to be right in January. You will get the free AI training, right? And then you'll get that list of 300. Now that's separate from the 600 grants that are in the course. All right. So we're good to go. I want to thank you all for hopping on. My name is Linda Peavy and I am creator of the course Grant Writing for Non-Writer Keys to Winning Grant Proposals and founder of the organization LaPav Consulting. And what I want to say to you all, 2 things. It's the holiday season. Be safe. I wish you blessings. I wish you peace. But January is coming, and I just want you to be ready for it. And the best way that you possibly can, right? You are who you've been waiting for, right? There are people waiting on your skills and your talents. Whatever you're trying to do, there are people waiting on you to do it and get it done, right? So that they can be served by you. And I want you to think about that, right? We're in this gift giving season. You need to start gifting yourself sometimes. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. You need to start gifting yourself sometimes, right? Because as people of color, yeah, it can be rough. It can be rough. All right. So thank you for hopping on and allowing me the opportunity to share a little bit about what I know to you, because I just want you all to be in a better place in January, and you can do this. All right. So hopefully I will see you in the Facebook group. When you come over to the Facebook group, I'm going to ask you a question. Answer my question because I don't want you to wait until the next group coaching call, which is sometime in January. I want to help you right away. So I'm going to ask you a question. Answer my question when you come into the Facebook group. I'm going to give you help immediately, immediately. But remember the two freebies, right? Mini grant, writing grants with AI, mini guide, and then the list of 300. All right. All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time and thrive. That's the key word for 2025. Time is out for just getting by. It's time to thrive regardless of what is happening. You can do this. All right. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.